Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Looks like we're diving into the world of LesBrown today.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
We've got a whole bunch of his speeches and writings here.
All about overcoming challenges and achieving success.
Ready to get inspired.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What's fascinating is how Brown built this incredible life,
He wasn't born into privilege or anything like that. No, not at all. In fact, he was labeled educable, mentally retarded as a kid.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Really?
And yet he defied all those labels and achieved incredible things.
I did not know that about his childhood.
It's a testament to the power of mindset, and resilience.
It makes his message even more powerful, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So where do we even begin with this deep dive?
Well, there's a lot here.
What are some of the key themes that kind of jump out at you from your notes?
Well, one of the most prominent themes is risk-taking.
Okay, risk-taking, yeah.
Brown talks about how fear basically kept him stuck for 13 years.
13 years, wow.
And he compares that to the 12 years of incredible success he experienced after he started taking calculated risks.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
It makes you think about what we're all missing out on because we're too scared to take chances.
It all boils down to something called, have you heard of this? It's called loss aversion.
Loss aversion.
Yeah, basically it's a psychological principle where we're naturally more afraid of losing what we have than we are excited about gaining something new.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Brown, he challenges us to flip that script.
Flip the script, I like that.
Yeah, and start viewing risk as a pathway to growth.
Okay, so how do we actually start taking more risks? It's easy to say step outside your comfort zone.
Right, it's much harder to actually do it.
Exactly.
So one practical tip Brown offers is to create a fear list.
A fear list.
Write down all the things you're afraid of.
Oh, okay.
From small anxieties to major life changes, and then start tackling those fears.
Systematically.
Yeah, one by one, starting with the smallest.
Interesting. So kind of work your way up to the bigger ones.
Exactly. And by facing our fears in a gradual and intentional way, we build confidence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And momentum.
So then it's easier to tackle the bigger risks over time.
Precisely.
Okay, I like that idea, the fear list.
It's a good one.
So we've talked about risk-taking. What else?
Well, another key principle Brown emphasizes is the power of a resilient, purpose-driven mindset.
Mindset. It seems like he's really big on mindset, right?
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Brown believes that our mindset shapes our reality.
Okay.
He argues that challenges are inevitable.
Of course.
But it's our attitude and our perspective that determine whether we overcome those challenges or succumb to them.
He talks about transforming pain into power, doesn't he?
Exactly. He believes that our greatest challenges can become our greatest teachers.
Interesting.
Providing valuable lessons and opportunities for growth.
That can be really tough to do in the moment, though, when you're in the midst of a challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you actually shift your perspective from this is terrible to this is an opportunity for growth?
Well, it starts with acknowledging and accepting your emotions.
So you're saying it's okay to not be okay?
Absolutely. Bottling up your emotions only makes them fester.
Right.
Acknowledge them, process them, and then you can start looking for the lessons.
So it's about finding that silver lining, even in those dark clouds, huh?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got risk-taking and a resilient mindset. What other key themes are we seeing in Brown's work?
Well, he's a huge advocate for continuous learning.
Continuous learning, okay.
He believes that we should never stop growing, evolving, and expanding our knowledge and skills.
He's a great example of that himself.
Absolutely.
75 years old and still going strong, still learning.
Always learning, writing, speaking, and exploring new opportunities.
I'm curious about his approach to storytelling.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
He seems to use stories really effectively to connect with his audience and to drive home his points.
He's a master storyteller.
Yes.
He calls it strategic experiential storytelling.
Wow.
And he believes that stories have the power to connect with people on a much deeper level.
Right.
To inspire action and to create lasting change.
He often uses personal anecdotes to illustrate his points.
He does. He shares stories from his own life, as well as stories of other individuals who have overcome challenges and achieved remarkable things.
Yeah, and he encourages others to become storytellers too, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He believes that everyone has a story to tell.
Right.
And that sharing our stories can be a powerful tool for personal growth, for connection, and even for societal transformation.
So it's not just about telling stories for entertainment. It's about using stories to make a point and to make a difference.
Exactly. He often says you never make a point without a story, and you never tell a story without a point.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got risk-taking, resilience, continuous learning, the power of storytelling. Anything else we should touch on in this first part of our deep dive?
Yes, one more important element is the power of community.
Community, okay.
Brown frequently emphasizes the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive, driven individuals.
People who support our growth.
Exactly. People who inspire us to be our best selves.
He used that analogy about geese flying in formation, right?
Oh, he does, yeah.
To illustrate the power of community.
It's a great analogy. He explains that geese can fly 75% farther when they fly together
75%.
than they could if they were flying alone.
That's amazing.
It's a beautiful illustration of the power of teamwork, collaboration, and support.
They draft off each other, right? Making the journey easier for everyone.
Exactly. And Brown believes that the same principle applies to our lives.
Okay, so we can achieve more when we surround ourselves with these supportive, like-minded individuals.
Encourage and uplift us, yes.
He's also a big believer in mentorship, right?
Oh, he is. He talks a lot about the impact that his mentors had on his life.
So it's about surrounding ourselves with people who believe in us,
Yeah.
who challenge us to grow, and who celebrate our successes with us.
It's like building a team for success.
I like that, a team for success.
And it's not just about receiving support, though. It's also about giving support.
Giving back.
Yeah, Brown encourages us to be a source of positivity and encouragement for others.
Lift each other up.
Lift them up, celebrate their achievements,
It's about creating that culture of support and collaboration.
where everyone feels valued and empowered to succeed.
Precisely.
And that actually leads perfectly into one of Brown's most powerful and personal stories. It's about his friend, Jack Boland,
Jack Boland, yeah, I've heard of him.
who faced a terminal cancer diagnosis
Wow.
with this extraordinary courage and grace.
It's an incredible story.
He decided to face his mortality with a spirit of acceptance and celebration.
Right.
He even held what he called a living funeral
A living funeral.
to connect with his loved ones.
While he was still alive.
Yeah, and share his wisdom.
That's so powerful.
It is. It's a truly moving story.
It's such a powerful example of, choosing how you respond to adversity.
Even in the face of death, Boland embraced life.
And encouraged others to do the same.
Yes, exactly.
This has been a fantastic start to our deep dive into LesBrown's wisdom.
We've covered a lot.
We've touched on some of his key themes like risk-taking, resilience, continuous learning, the power of storytelling, and the importance of community.
A lot of good stuff.
And we've even explored some practical advice for applying these principles to our own lives.
Yeah, like that fearless idea.
Exactly.
That was a good one.
So I'm excited to delve even deeper into these concepts and explore more of Brown's wisdom in the next part of our deep dive.
Me too. There's a lot more to unpack here.
But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Definitely.
What resonated with you the most?
What are some key takeaways that you can apply to your own life?
Think about that. We'll be back soon to continue our exploration of LesBrown's inspiring message.
We'll see you then.
All right, see you in part 2.
Bye.
If you like the podcast, make sure you subscribe for the next session.
So, when we were talking about all this stuff about mindset and resilience,
Yeah.
what really stood out to me was Brown's focus on having a strong why.
A strong why.
Okay. Yeah, like a purpose,
Right.
He believes that when we have a clear purpose, a reason to keep going, that we can endure almost any how.
The how being the challenges, I guess.
Exactly.
It's like having a North Star
Yes.
to guide you.
Especially when things get tough.
Yeah, when you're facing those obstacles.
He talks about this a lot in the context of resilience, right?
Right, resilience.
Brown argues that having a strong why is like the foundation of a resilient mindset.
Makes sense.
When you know your purpose, then setbacks
Yeah.
they just become temporary hurdles.
Instead of these huge obstacles. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like if you're driven by something bigger than yourself, you're not going to get derailed by every little thing.
It's true.
Every disappointment, every little challenge.
Precisely.
You just keep your eye on the prize.
He also connects this to the idea of having faith.
Faith.
Not necessarily religious faith,
Okay.
but faith in yourself, in your vision.
Belief.
Yeah, and the possibility of achieving what you set out to do.
I like that.
So it's about believing in your why, even when
things get tough.
you can't see the path clearly. Yeah,
When those doubts creep in.
absolutely. And that's where Brown's concept of it's possible comes in.
He loves that phrase, it's possible.
He does. It's like a rallying cry,
A reminder to keep going, keep pushing.
Exactly. A reminder that we are capable of far more than we often believe.
It's so easy to get caught up in those limiting beliefs. To tell ourselves we can't do something.
Right.
But Brown, he's like a walking example of how to break free from that.
He is. We talked about how he was labeled educable mentally retarded as a child.
It's incredible to think about that.
And to go from that to becoming this world-renowned motivational speaker.
It's amazing.
It just shows you the power of believing in yourself.
Even when the world tells you otherwise.
Even when everyone else is doubting you, yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we cultivate that belief?
Well, Brown talks a lot about the importance of
Yes.
surrounding ourselves with the right people.
Okay, your support system.
The people who support our growth.
Like mentors?
The mentors, friends, family.
Colleagues?
Yeah, anyone who inspires us to be better.
He has that great analogy, right, about the geese flying in formation.
He does.
It's such a vivid image.
He explains that geese can fly so much farther when they fly together.
Than when they're alone. Yeah.
It's a beautiful illustration of how teamwork and collaboration can really make a difference.
They draft off of each other, right?
Exactly. They make the journey easier for everyone.
So we can apply that to our own lives, too.
We can. We can achieve so much more when we have that support system in place.
And when we're also giving back, supporting others.
That's a huge part of it, too.
So it's not just about taking, it's about giving back to that community.
Exactly.
Now, there's something else I wanted to ask you about, and it's about multiple streams of income.
Oh, yeah, that's an important one.
Brown talks about that a lot.
He does, and I think it's really relevant, especially in today's world.
I think so, too.
He believes that relying on a single source of income is risky.
Especially with how unpredictable things can be.
Exactly. So he encourages people to diversify their income streams.
Develop different skills, right? Explore different avenues for generating revenue.
Exactly. It's about creating options for yourself.
A safety net.
A safety net, exactly.
So it's not just about financial security.
It's also about having more control over your life.
Not being limited by a single job.
Exactly. And that ties back to his overall message of empowerment.
Taking responsibility for your own life.
Yes. Brown believes that we have more control over our circumstances than we realize.
We just have to be willing to take action.
That's the key.
And to think outside the box.
It's about being proactive and creative in shaping our own future.
Love that.
So, building on that idea of empowerment, Brown also talks a lot about mastering the power of the mind.
Okay, the power of the mind.
He believes that our thoughts and beliefs have a huge impact on our reality.
Mindset, right?
Exactly. So by cultivating a positive mindset, we can achieve incredible things.
And overcome those negative thoughts that hold us back.
Precisely.
He's a big believer in visualization too, isn't he?
He is. He talks about creating vision boards and really vividly imagining yourself achieving your goals.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about really seeing it, feeling it.
Yes, it's about creating a blueprint for success in your mind.
I like that.
And then taking action to make it happen.
Okay, so we've got this positive mindset, we're visualizing our goals. What else?
Well, then it comes down to action, right?
Right, taking those steps.
Brown has this saying, you've got to jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down.
Wow, that's a little scary.
It is, but it's also exhilarating.
It's about having that faith
In yourself, yeah.
that you'll figure it out.
That you'll adapt, that you'll overcome the challenges.
So don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start moving.
Exactly. Take that first step.
And then another and another.
And pretty soon you'll be soaring.
I love that. That's so inspiring.
And it's important to remember that action doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing.
Right. It can be small steps.
It can be small, consistent actions taken over time.
Like, what, making one phone call a day? Or writing one page in your journal?
Exactly. It's those small wins that build up to something bigger.
Momentum.
Momentum, exactly.
And this ties into another key message of Brown's, which is embracing failure. Failure.
As part of the journey.
You're part of the process, yeah.
He talks a lot about how failure is not the opposite of success.
But a stepping stone.
A stepping stone, exactly.
It's inevitable we're all going to fail at some point.
We are. It's part of learning and growing.
He has that great line, you don't drown by falling in the water, you drown by staying there.
Oh, I love that one.
It's so true.
It's a reminder to get back up, learn from your mistakes, and keep going.
So it's all about having that growth mindset.
Yes.
Viewing challenges as opportunities.
To learn, to get better.
Not as defeats.
Exactly. Failure is just feedback.
Okay, so we've got this idea of embracing failure. What else is there?
Well, Going back to that idea of a positive mindset and believing in yourself, Brown really hammers home this message of it's possible.
He does. That's like his signature phrase almost.
It is, and it's so powerful because it reminds us that we are capable of so much more than we think.
That we have unlimited potential.
Exactly.
He's always pushing us to dream bigger, to set those audacious goals.
And to never give up on ourselves.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about believing that anything is possible.
It is, and then taking action to make it happen.
I love that. It's such a powerful message.
It is, and it's something that we can all apply to our lives.
No matter what our goals are.
No matter what your circumstances are, yeah.
Wow. This has been such an insightful exploration of LesBrown's teachings.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, from resilience to mindset to taking action.
And everything in between.
It's clear that his message is about so much more than just achieving success.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
Living a life of purpose.
Making a positive impact on the world.
So before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, I want to pause for a moment.
Yeah, let's reflect.
Think about what we've discussed so far.
What are some of the key takeaways that you can apply to your own life?
What resonates with you the most?
We'll be back soon to continue exploring LesBrown's inspiring message.
We've talked a lot about LesBrown's ideas.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff.
But one thing that really sticks out to me is his emphasis on taking action.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not enough to just, think positive thoughts.
Right.
Or even have that strong why.
You got to do something with it.
You have to actually take action, right?
Exactly. Brown's all about turning inspiration into action.
He's got that great quote.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
Something like, you've got to jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down.
That's the one. It's a little scary.
It's terrifying, but also exciting,
Yeah, I get that.
It's about having that faith in yourself.
That you can figure things out as you go.
That you can adapt and overcome those challenges.
It's like he's saying, don't wait for the perfect moment, just get started.
Move in the direction of your dreams, and you'll figure it out along the way.
Exactly. And the action doesn't have to be this big, dramatic thing.
It can be small steps, right?
Absolutely. Just consistent action taken over time.
Like what? Making one phone call a day?
Yeah. Or writing one page of your book.
Reaching out to one potential mentor?
It's all about those little wins.
Building momentum.
Exactly.
And, this ties into another one of Brown's big messages.
What's that?
Embracing failure.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
He talks about failure a lot.
He does, because it's inevitable, It's
part of the journey. We're all going to fail at some point.
We are. It's how we learn and grow.
He says you don't drown by falling in the water. You drown by staying there.
Such a powerful analogy.
It's true. You got to get back up and keep swimming.
Learn from those mistakes and keep moving forward.
So it's about having that growth mindset.
Absolutely.
Viewing those challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Not as defeats.
Exactly. Failure is just feedback.
It's telling you what to adjust, what to do differently next time.
Okay, so we've got this idea of embracing failure, taking action. What else?
Well, it all comes back to that belief in yourself.
Right, that positive mindset.
Brown's always saying it's possible.
That's like his mantra.
It is, and it's so powerful because it reminds us of our potential.
That we can achieve amazing things.
We just have to believe it.
And then take action to make it happen.
So, to wrap up our deep dive into LesBrown's world.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered so much ground.
From risk-taking to resilience to the power of storytelling.
And everything in between.
Brown's message is so inspiring and empowering.
It really is. It's about believing in yourself, taking action, and never giving up.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
And making a positive impact on the world.
So, as LesBrown would say, it's possible.
It really is. And we hope this deep dive has inspired you to believe in your own potential.
To overcome your challenges and to create the life you truly desire.
Remember, the journey doesn't end here.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to be your best self.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into LesBrown's wisdom.
We'll see you next time.
If you like the podcast, make sure you subscribe for the next session.